sorry, bro, that's not who I am. Like that's just not how I've gotten to where I am. And that's not how I built this amazing team. Like I built an amazing team that looks at a situation and says, you know what? We can do that. Yeah, we can do that.
And Agile was a major disruptor for me because it started getting me almost every decision. I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, is there a better way to do this? Or is there a different way to do it? Should I be talking to someone else to get a better way or a different way or an idea or something like that? Anything. And to be more open-minded. I would even disagree with myself. Don't get stuck. It's really a trap for leaders.
There'll be people that'll be on the outside talking about, oh, that's going to fail. Oh, that's going to be a mess. Oh, that's not going to work. There's no way that's going to happen. Like, okay, cool. That's fine. You're allowed to think that, but that's not going to change the thing that we're doing because we've done everything that Bob just talked about. So Bob's doing the intro. That means I got to shut up.
Which is hard for you to do. Entry music. Dun, 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 dun. It's the Bob and Josh Show. Hey, Metacasters. Welcome to the cast today. I'm Bobby G. Galen, and I want to introduce our topic. No, back in the 80s, probably mid to late 80s. I was a software engineering manager or director, and I was studying leadership. Probably mostly because I sucked at it, and I was studying everything. I was looking for role models, etc. And Colin Powell. This was pre my Agile days. Or on the cusp of traditional management to Agile, and I came upon these 18 principles from Colin Powell. Colin Powell was a general in the military, Secretary of State, I think under one of the Bushes, and just someone when I read his 18 keys to leadership, it really resonated with me. It provided some wisdom, and it stayed with me. Not that long ago, I was flashing back. So this is 40 years ago, Josh? 40 years ago or so, and I was looking at the principles again. It's hard to find them now online, or harder to find them. And they really resonated again. So I suggested, Josh, that we share them. So this is Colin Powell's 18 Principles to Highly Effective Leadership. And we've done one of our pick 5. So Josh picked his top 5, I did, and we're going to run through them.
Yes, we are. Are you ready? You want to go first or you want me to go first?
Well, I picked lesson number 1. So
okay. I guess we got to start there then.
So being responsible sometimes means pissing people off. And I agree with that. And I think a lot of leaders, they are really reluctant to have crucial conversations. They're really reluctant to speak truth to power, the power being their teams in this case, that they'll obfuscate. They'll mislead. They'll be too subtle. They won't be clear. And because they're afraid, I can't aggravate the masses. It'll undermine our roadmap, et cetera, et cetera. And it's not, that fear is not leadership.
Right.
So the goal of this principle is not to piss people off. The point of this principle is to not be afraid of pissing people off, to not let that be one of your guiding principles as a leader, but to be a truth teller. I think in one of our episodes, we talked about being a truth teller up and out. Mm-hmm. But this is being a truth teller to your teams, even when the truth is going to aggravate them. And that's something it just resonates with me so much as to boldly go where, if I need to, not to be afraid of aggravating people, not be afraid of making them angry.
Yeah, so I'm a movie, TV guy, and also a sports guy. Think of every movie you've ever seen, Remember the Titans or something like that, where there's a transformational coach. There's somebody that comes in to a team, takes that team from what they were to what they could be, and recognize all of the times when that leader, that person says something that group doesn't like, but it's something the group needs to hear for that group to achieve whatever they're trying to get done. Every movie, every story, every book, everything where there's a transformation requires that, because you're just going to keep doing the same thing. And you get stuck in this rut. You're like, oh man, I wish we would be better. I wish we would be better. But you don't want to do the hard thing. So then someone has to come in and make you do the hard thing to evolve and transform. And it often requires saying things that people might not want to hear. but that's the job. So I would 1,000,000% agree.
Absolutely. Real quickly, Metacasters, it's not just what you say, it's what you do as well.
Yeah.
So let's say Josh is a software manager reporting to me, and I'm the CTO of a company, and I want to promote Josh, and no one in the company likes Josh. And this is far-fetched,
Yeah.
but no one in the company
Yeah.
likes Josh. Everyone thinks he's a Moronsky. And when I announce his promotion, and I announce my rationale for it, my reasons before it, I'm setting him up for success, but no one agrees with me. But I know that in advance because I know Josh. But I know that in advance. But I go through with it because he's the right guy. He's the right guy, and I believe in him. So again, it's what you say and then what you do. Uh, what you do is going to piss people off. You stick to your guns.
Yep. Agreed.
What's the next number in order, Josh?
So I'm going to cheat. I think you'll label this as cheating. I am going to do a combo platter. I'm going to do number 3 and number 4 together because I
That's not
believe they
cheating.
kind of
Oh,
work together.
that
Kind of
works. Go
hand in
for it.
hand. So number 3 is don't be buffaloed by experts and elites. Experts often possess more data than judgment, and the elites become so inbred that they produce hemophiliacs who bleed to death as soon as they are nicked by the real world. And number 4 is don't be afraid to challenge the pros, even in their own backyard. So I was looking forward to this one because I think about challenging the pros even in their own backyard. I've been having to wrestle with this Bob Galen guy for 15 years. So
For
boy,
15
do I
years.
believe in this one.
Exactly.
Well, so this is one of those things, and we have talked about it a lot about don't be afraid to challenge the pros. The thought leaders, air quote, that are out there oftentimes haven't done the job. And so they're pontificating on, hey, here's how it should work. And then you scratch the surface, like, well, have you, like, what happened when you did that? How did that work? And there's not much there. Like, oh, well, wait a minute. Why should I be like hanging on every word that you're typing or sharing or whatever? And you haven't done the thing. Now it's, it's good to get those different opinions and viewpoints, but there are no silver bullets. Don't take anything anybody says, Bob, myself, anybody else that's out there. Don't take it as gospel. You cannot. We might be considered experts or pros, but don't just take what we've done and copy and paste it into your life, because your life is not the life that we live, that we're sharing our stories from. Spotify is one of those major things. If you've been around the podcast for a while, you know that I like the things that Spotify did. And in our area, I kicked off and started doing a bunch of Spotify stuff. And then I turned around and like I saw all these job postings for chapter leads and all these different Spotify things. Like, wait a minute, what are you people doing? So yeah, it's just be careful. Take everything with a grain of salt, including this podcast.
Absolutely. I was going to add to that, everyone. It's not just it's how recently have they done it is another variation. So I haven't written software in 20 years. That's just plus real software. I've dabbled, but real software. So you do not want to listen to me for design techniques or design trade-offs. I mean, higher level things, perhaps guidelines, etc. But again, it's always ask people, did you do it? And when was the last time you did it?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. So just when was the last time you did it? And did you really lead it, or were you part of a 100-person team that did something?
Right. Yeah.
and you did one line of code before you left in your one day of work or something like that. Lesson number 6, Josh, is my next one.
Oh, that was my next one too.
All right, we'll do a match on this.
Okay.
You don't know what you can get away with until you try. And there's an old technique, Metacasters, or an old thought called manager's discretion. I don't know if it's still valid, but as I was growing up in the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s even, there was HR departments and leadership teams. We talked about there was an intangible wiggle room where managers had discretion. Like I could buy something and I may or may not have the budget for it. And then I ask for forgiveness, right? I do something and then I ask for forgiveness. And that's the thing here. I think as leaders, we want to be on that hairy edge. We don't want to be creating insubordination. We don't want to be totally, jerking our leaders around, but we want to be supporting the mission, and we want to be stretching things that our teams that our teams need. And I don't see enough boldness in leaders today. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it ever in leaders. I used to lean into management discretion. So I used to get, just sort of put up against the wall. It was like, well, I used my discretion. I used my judgment. What? You're not supposed to do that. And then I took the licking, but I was supporting the mission. I was supporting the project. I was supporting the business, if you will. Josh?
Yeah, this was a lesson that I learned from Gonzalo Hidalgo at Teradata. So Bob and I both worked with and for him, and we didn't always agree with him, but Gonzalo was really good at understanding the rules and playing within them, but stretching them. And that was an eye-opener for me. So he understood the protocols. He understood how to do the things, but he also understood that how we choose to execute under the covers, that's up to us. And we are the ones that are closest to the problem. And we can figure out the best way to unlock our team and their capabilities. And you can't just be, again, a carbon copy. And so as I saw him do that, it was an eye-opener, because we had some real struggles with hiring, because we worked at a big company and they had all these procedures and all these levels before a resume would show up on a manager's desk. So he figured out a way to work around that and get people that he could find in quickly and making a difference and work them through the system. And that was an eye-opener for me. So I've, again, looked at that very, very similar to what Bob said, is you understand the things you have to do, and then you understand the ways you can work around them or through them, and be comfortable. The number of times I said, hey, we're going to do this, and like a member of my team, like, can we do that? Like, has anybody said we can't? Like, there's nothing that says we can't do it. We're just choosing to do it differently. Like, we don't have to, we only have to do this. One of the things that was a pretty large moment was when we chose to change the way that we figured out a bonus. And the company, all I had to do as a leader was send an Excel file to HR of every person on my team and what the bonus was that they were going to get. There was no edict on how I calculated that. And so we chose to discuss it as a team and allocate it to ourselves as a team and take that approach. It was like, well, we're going to get in trouble. Like, what are we going to get in trouble for? We're not going to get, like, we are doing the thing we've been asked to do. We've been given a bucket of money, and it's my responsibility to allocate it amongst this group. And as long as the number adds up to the number that I have, I'm good. It doesn't matter. We can choose to operate however we want. Okay.
You're bold. You are a bold man. You challenge. I like listening to your challenge HR stories, Josh.
Yeah.
I do. It warms my heart.
I've got a bit of that.
My next number is 13. So do you have anything?
I have 2 before that. Oh, I get to double dip here.
Yes, you do.
So this will align with that. Number 11, fit no stereotypes. Don't chase the latest management fads. The situation dictates which approach best accomplishes the team's mission. So you may have heard me say some words that sounds like this is the thing that I'm pretty passionate about. This has really been a driver for me because of my anti-mentor approach, or anti-mentor history that I had, where I never had this pattern or practice laid in front of me that I believed in, that I knew worked. I never had a blueprint or roadmap for this is what being a great leader looks like. So I just felt like I had to figure it out. And I leaned on my agile background, and I just started trying things and discarding them if they didn't work, trying them quickly, failing fast, like all of those things, so that I could find the thing that worked, because I didn't know what the answer was. So I felt my only path out of this was, hey, let's just try stuff and see what works. And that often meant doing things that people weren't really thinking about. In fact, agile was one of those things. One of the teams I was working with, we just didn't like the way things were going. So we started changing stuff. We started doing things differently. And we had been doing this for close to a year. And then one of my lead devs, he sent me a message like, hey, here's a link to this webpage. And there's this thing called Agile. And I think we're doing it. And so that was an unlock for us. Like, holy cow, there's other people doing this. That's so exciting. But we wouldn't have gotten there if we weren't willing to just try and do something different. Try and find the thing that works and not accept that what you're doing now isn't working.
I think it's one of the biggest dangers for leaders is you fall into a sense of comfort with your ways of doing work, with your strategies, with your tactics, with your habits. I try to challenge myself. I don't do it enough. I've learned over the years, decades, to do it more and more because I'm a comfort zone guy. So historically, I'm a comfort zone guy. If it works, then it works. I can easily fall into a habit. And Agile was a major disruptor for me because it started getting me almost every decision. I'll look in the mirror and I'm like, is there a better way to do this? Or is there a different way to do it? Should I be talking to someone else to get a better way or a different way or an idea or something like that? Anything. And to be more open-minded. I would even disagree with myself. Right, overnight, I think of a different. That was wrong. Let's do something. And then I'll wake up the next day and I'm like 180 degrees spun on it. But it's that don't get stuck. It's really a trap for leaders. It's been a trap for me, and I'm still a work in progress when it comes to that. So Josh is right on. Do you have 12, Josh?
I do have 12. So I have number 12, which is perpetual optimism as a force multiplier.
Hey, no, we're not going to talk.
We're going to talk about that.
No, all right.
So this was something that smacked me in the face. So I was working for a CTO, 10, 12 years ago, and I was the VP of software engineering, and we had a VP of IT, and we were in there and we were talking about something, and the CTO like pounded the desk. He's like, I cannot live in a world where my leader of software engineering is an optimist. That is just not gonna work. I need you to be a pessimist. I need you to think the world's gonna end and like be defensive about everything. Like, sorry, bro, that's not who I am. Like, that's just not how I've gotten to where I am, and that's not how I built this amazing team. Like, I built an amazing team that looks at a situation and says, you know what, we can do that. Yeah, we can do that. Now, I, of course, wrapped processes and communication protocols around that so that we weren't over-promising, right? That was something that we didn't do. There's a difference between over-promising and getting yourself in trouble with publishing dates and being an optimist, right? You have to believe that you can do a thing, because one of my favorite sayings that I tell my kids all the time that I know they are absolutely sick of is whether you think you can, whether you think you can't, you're right. So I try and lean into we can, and we're going to figure it out. So that is one of those things that just, to me, is wired into who I am and will be wired into the teams that I build forever.
I mean, I can't agree more, Josh. I'm a can-do kind of guy. I've always been, you remember that story where the first time I did public speaking, I paired with someone at a conference in San Diego, and the author of the thing we were speaking about was sitting in the front row. It was like God. And Eric and I did the talk. I don't even remember it. I think I went brain dead during the whole time. Seriously, I don't remember what happened or anything. Eric has never spoken in public again. He was scarred. He was physically damaged as a result. And I took that as I can do that.
Yeah.
It's a challenge to me. It's a big challenge. The bigger the challenge, writing a book was another challenge. My writing sucked. And my first book, I challenged myself. I think that can-do spirit permeates my leadership journey. It's done me a good service. And I think anyone that I've seen with can-do spirits versus can't-do spirits, the can-dos trump the can't-dos.
Yeah.
Unless the can't-dos are in QA. That was a joke, everyone.
Nah.
Right. You want can't-dos in QA. I'm just kidding around. I have 13.
Okay.
And it's Powell's rules for picking people. Peter Pumpkin picking people. Look for intelligence and judgment, and most critically, a capacity to anticipate, to see around corners. Also, look for loyalty, integrity, a high energy drive, a balanced ego, and the drive to get things done. I don't know if all of them are equal in my mind. Like getting things done is a high power, but they're all soft skills, Metacasters.
Mhm.
And the point I was going to make is we very often we look at hard skills for people, and I think hard skills are more trainable. You need trainable folks for hard skills, but these soft skills, these character skills. These character attributes, which is what he's talking about, like someone who can look around corners, is curious. Oh my gosh, if you get a few of those folks in your team, that can be a godsend. If everyone is balanced egos, another way of saying that is you don't hire assholes, but you're hiring balanced egos. I think those are the critical things that I've learned to focus on in building great teams. uh, and it's all about picking people. The reason I picked it as part of my top five, it's one of the most critical things we do as leaders, as we compose, we orchestrate, we conduct great teams. That's what we do. And you have to take that. I know I'm joking with my metaphor in a silly way, but I'm being absolutely dead serious. We need to be we need to be crisp and clean and visioned about how we put teams together. There's so many variations there, and to be artful about it. Josh?
Yeah, the challenge there is these are harder to detect. And
Yeah,
so oftentimes people opt out of trying to figure that out. They look for the easy, quicker way out of give me a checklist of technical
exactly.
skills and experience. I need 5 years of this and 6 of that and 7 of that. And if they have those things, cool, hire them. That's going to end up blowing up in your face. So you have to really invest in your hiring process to understand these soft skills, which ones are most important to you. And then you have to devise a way. And it's hard, it's very difficult to be able to figure that out in a hiring process. But when you do, when you develop patterns and practices that allow you to figure that out, your team will accelerate faster than you can ever imagine. Because what I found is that when you stack up a bunch of people like this together, just get out of the freaking way, right? And just
Absolutely.
let them go. So that I agree 1,000,000%.
My next one is 16, Josh.
I have
What's your next?
16 as well. So you go.
Okay. So the commander in the field is always right, and the rear echelon is wrong, unless proved otherwise. And I think of this, that sounds very militaristic, and it is. I mean, that's his leadership journey, the majority of it. Uh, but I think of it as hierarchy and hierarchical organization pushing down decision making. When I've had senior level uh, roles, I was listening intently to folks who were in the field, like someone who's in the team writing the code,
Right.
someone who's a product owner who talking to a customer. I mean, I can't tell you. I had a leadership role. I was guiding an organization. I was collaborating with product. I had all of this responsibility, all of this stuff. But when it came to sort of, who's right, who's wrong, or where the decision's coming from, my ears went down. And it wasn't artificial listening. It was deep listening. It was, and I try to get different voices or different points of view from a team. Does everyone else agree with that? Does someone else see it a different way? And I'm trying to get those in the field, or where the rubber meets the road, all of those euphemisms. That's leadership to me. And I've seen the reverse that so many leaders,
Mhm.
Josh, you probably not worked this way, but leaders are getting in a room. I'm like people who haven't designed a freaking app in 10 years, and they're deciding crap in a room, or they've talked to customer execs, but they haven't talked to who uses the damn product that they're
Right.
building, right? Their product owners have, but they're acting like, well, I talked to, the CEO of the company, blah, 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 and I know what they want. No, you don't. Have the humility. Have the wherewithal to go low. And what is it, that hippo thing or whatever, the highest paid person in the org or
Highest
in the
paid
room?
person's opinion.
Yeah, and that the whole notion of that is the hippo controls the room. No, I would say what's the reverse? The baby hippo. No, not the biggest fattest person in the room, but the baby hippos or the whatever, the worker bees. Maybe the worker bees are what you should be listening to.
Yeah, this one is on my list as well, and I agree with everything Bob said, but I want to put a slightly different spin on this. So this evoked a feeling of me very similar to the story of the person in the the arena, right? So the story
Uh,
of the person actually out there doing the thing is living it, is trying to do things that others aren't. But there's a ton of folks that are up in the stands watching, having opinions, talking to each other about what the person in the arena is doing wrong and how they would do better if they were there. Well, you know what? Then get in the freaking arena and make it happen. But don't sit up in the stands and chirp about somebody's doing something wrong without actually getting it done. Right? This is the thing that happens a lot, especially when you're pushing the envelope and trying things, is there'll be people that'll be on the outside talking about, oh, that's going to fail. Oh, that's going to be a mess. Oh, that's not going to work. There's no way that's going to happen. Like, okay, cool. That's fine. You're allowed to think that, but that's not going to change the thing that we're doing because we've done everything that Bob just talked about. There are members of our team that have talked to people doing the work, and they have said, if you build this, we will fork over so much money because it will change our lives, and we are going to be so much happier. We're going to be able to accomplish more for our customers, which means we can accomplish more, right? That's because we've done the work, because we've invested, just like Bob said. We have the confidence and willingness to go left when there's a whole group of people over there saying, hey, you should go right. But to Bob's point, they aren't the ones that are living it and have actually talked to the people. So I agree with this. I get fired up about this. But yeah, okay, I'll stop.
what's your? Do you have any more, Josh?
I have number 17, and I bet you
Me
have number
too.
18.
Me
Oh,
too.
okay.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, I could go either way.
yeah.
Why don't we do it this way? Why don't I was torn. I'll defer 17 and I'll take
I think we've
18.
talked about number 18 enough, right? We've
Oh,
covered that.
okay.
So
Well, then
number
let's lean
18
into
for
17.
everybody. If you haven't
So,
clicked on the link that's in the
so
description,
command is lonely, is
yep,
it? And we have
yep.
talked about that. Go for 17, Josh.
17. Have fun in your command. Don't always run at a breakneck pace. Take a leave when you've earned it. Spend time with your families. Corollary, surround yourself with people who take the work seriously, but not themselves. Those who work hard and play hard. I love it until that last part. The work hard and play hard is one of those things just kind of gives me the willies. I agree with it. That's fine. But that saying drives me crazy. But this is something that is important to me because I've not always been good at this. This is something that I've had to work really hard at because I have a bit of workaholism. And it's a thing where when things go bad, when life gets tough, my answer is put my head down and work harder. And I have not been good enough throughout my career at allowing myself to take a break, take a pause, refresh and recharge. My answer has always been work harder, work faster, do all that stuff. And that has ground me into the ground. And it has done the same thing for some of my teams and my family at times. So this is one of those things that is very important to me because I have to work really hard to make this happen. And I've seen what happens when I don't do it. And I see what happens when I do make it happen. So it's always at the front of my mind of, hey, slow down, take a step back. It's going to be okay. The work's not going anywhere. It'll be there tomorrow. There's all of those things that are out there. So this is the thing that cuts me deep because I've not always been great at it. So this is an important one that I want to make sure if you made it this far into the podcast that you make sure this is one you take home with you.
I mean, I think very few leaders are inherently good at this right out of the gate, Josh. I mean, I think it's something that unfortunately, we have to learn. The thing it's a little different than your spin. I just want to drill in on the first sentence. Have fun in your command. And so I think one of my superpowers as a leader, and don't burst my bubble, Josh. So just let me believe this
I know
is a
where you're going, and I agree with you.
superpower. Is I have a sense of humor. When the pressure's on, one of my pressure relief is joking, and I almost become more of a smarty pants and irreverent, and and just finding the fun in things and high-fiving with folks and trying to de-stress situation. It's just part of who I am. And and over time, I'm just like, even the toughest job, yeah, have fun with it. Just look for the fun. Create fun. Maybe if you can't find any, then your job is to create the fun. Be an observer. And the fun starts with making fun of yourself,
Yep.
right? Making fun of you, like not taking myself too seriously. And that's really hard to do when the shit is hitting the fan and the pressure's on, or there's bugs in the field and customers yelling. But at the same time, that is a phase shift that to get things done, that you can de-stress things. So I don't get flustered with stuff. If I'm joking, sometimes people misinterpret me. When the stress is really up, I sound almost like a clown to some degree. And it's like, do you not care? And I'm like, I certainly care. Beep. I grab their red nose. So, but in all seriousness, have fun in your command. Metacasters, ask yourself, are you having fun? Are you creating fun? Are you the igniter of fun? Right? Are you the role model of fun, of joy, of happiness? And on a scale of 1, where are you? And then think deeply to yourself, how do I lean into more fun? And it's not just a Bob Galen thing. I think your results, your impact will increase. I've seen so many sour leaders, and they get sourer when the pressure's on,
Oh, yeah.
right? It's like you can tell. It's like, I want to put them in a bathroom and just say, stay in there until you get happier.
Yeah.
You need, come on, relieve yourself. They look awful, and that's not, and it's not good for them, and it's not good for everyone around them.
Yeah. Yep.
So really lean into fun.
I don't know how to top that. I don't need to top that, right? I think Bob did what Bob does. Bob nailed it.
Are we done, Josh?
I think the fork has been stuck.
At Medicare's final forkage is that command is lonely thing. Go back and review some of our older episodes when we have talked about that.
Yeah.
Because it is a thing, and it's a real thing, and it's central to your leadership.
And the better you are at it, the more lonely it is.
Oh, amen, brother. Right. So it's hard. It's a real and it's a personal challenge. It's not so much an outside challenge. It's an inside out challenge for you. And it's one that you have to come to grips with. So with that, we hope Colin Powell, let's have a moment of silence for the great general and statesman, Colin Powell. 5 seconds. He was a great man. All right, Metacasters, from beautiful downtown Cary, North Carolina.
I feel bad because I couldn't do that without a smile on my face. We're trying to honor somebody, and I could, just because we go back to the fun of Bob, right? The fun of Bob. I'm sitting there like, oh, what a jerk I am. I'm trying to be quiet. I got a smirk on my face because I'm laughing about Bob.
You were. I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes. Okay. So from
beautiful downtown Cary, North Carolina,
and from beautiful downtown Fuquay Arena, North Carolina,
I'm Bob the Hitman Galen.
And I'm Josh the Anvil Anderson.
Shake.
Fake.
Take care, y'all.
Oh, gosh.